For that, we bring in Cordell Woodland, who covers the Ravens for 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, also co-host of The Fresh Take as well. Cordell, thanks for being with us here on this Tuesday. And I wanted to go back just a little bit to what John Harbaugh said about Lamar Jackson a couple weeks ago, which is that Lamar is as good a passer as has ever played the game. Is he using hyperbole here, or is there some truth to that?
Well, first of all, as a lifelong Commanders fan, I agree with your sentiment about the shared stadium. That was a non-starter for everybody on both sides.
Yes.
But also with John, last year John came out before the season and also said he felt like Lamar Jackson was the best player in the NFL. And this is after Lamar's coming off his second MVP, probably should have been his second unanimous MVP, one vote away from that. And then last year, he just loses out on his third MVP to Josh Allen. So, I think everybody has kind of been amazed with the evolution of Lamar and how it seems like every time he tops himself, he does it again the next year. So it's kind of hard to argue with John. I know there have been great passes in the league, and you think of Lamar Jackson, the first thing you think about usually isn't passing, but you go look at his numbers. It's hard to argue. 44 passing touchdowns or something like that, 4 interceptions last year, elite category. He's been efficient really most of his career. You combine that with his athleticism, he is as dangerous as it gets as a quarterback. I don't know if he's the best passer of all time. I'm not ready to say that. But without a doubt, Lamar Jackson is one of the best passers and easily, in my opinion, one of the best players in the NFL.
Yeah, even the numbers he put up last year, it's crazy to me, the numbers and the stats that he put up, and he didn't win MVP. And I understand Josh Allen had a great season as well, but statistically speaking, Lamar Jackson put up Aaron Rodgers in his prime numbers and also had the rushing stats to go along with it. So that being said, do you think Lamar Jackson makes another case for MVP this season?
Most likely. It's just what he's done. Lamar has a fully healthy year. More times than not, he's going to be an MVP category. It's just a question of, is it voter fatigue? And last year showed that there is a little bit of voter fatigue for Lamar. And look, I think Josh Allen had an MVP case himself. I don't think it's the most egregious thing we've ever seen. I think Josh Allen definitely deserved to win MVP. I think Lamar deserved to win MVP as well. But I just think the way that Lamar plays, he can't help himself but to be one of the best players in the league, and he's got a lot of talent around him now to make his job easier. This defense has gotten even better. I can't see a scenario where he plays 17 games and he's not in the MVP conversation.
We're talking with Cordell Woodland, who covers the Ravens for 105.7 in Baltimore. So this is the third year, as you know, for Todd Monken as the OC for Lamar and this offense. So since we're talking about how good Lamar has been, is there another level that this combination can reach, or is it just about maintaining the elite offensive output we've seen for the past couple seasons?
Well, they believe there's another level. I just don't. At this point, I think they're starting to create levels, because how much better can this unit be? The 2 years with Todd Monken they've been one of the best, if not the best, offense in the league, and you combine that with the addition of Derrick Henry last year. The NFL, when the NFL was created, nobody had the idea that you'd have a shared backfield with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. How do you even game plan for that? And like I said, you have the weapons that they have on the outside. It spells trouble, but I think it's more so about maintaining, to be honest with you. Again, how much better can they be? They're an elite rushing offense, and they're arguably the most efficient passing offense in the NFL right now. I think it's about maintaining that throughout the regular season. I think when it comes to the playoffs, just not turning the ball over. That's really been their Achilles heel as a team. Committing too many turnovers in the playoffs and not forcing enough turnovers in the playoffs, and that just spells for disaster in January. So I think maybe as extravagant as the Ravens offense can be with Lamar in the regular season, maybe they need to be a little more boring in the postseason to maybe get where they want to be.
Yeah, I feel like that lady in The Blind Side. Run the damn ball. sometimes when it comes to the Ravens. I want to ask you about this headline because I thought it was interesting. I don't know if it happens, but Mike Floria of Pro Football Talk said Micah Parsons, one of the top landing spots for, the Cowboys, defensive player who's been unhappy with the Cowboys, could be the Ravens. Could you imagine a scenario in which the Ravens trade for Micah Parsons?
Wow. I mean, I don't know what they would be giving up right now. Anybody that gets a deal with Michael Parsons in it, you would imagine they're winning that deal. Whoever lands Michael Parsons, he's the player in that deal. And then you take that and you combine that with they're going to have to extend him. And when I look at the Ravens, they already have to extend Kyle Hamilton coming up here soon. They have to figure out their tight end situation because everybody in their tight end room is in the last year of their deal, including Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Tyler Linderbaum is also looking for an extension. Lamar Jackson we're in that territory now, again, where we're talking about him getting an extension, and he has the no franchise tag clause in his contract. So they're going to have to get that extension done before his contract runs out. So I just start adding up all those numbers, and the math just isn't making sense to me for Parsons to be there. And again, what would they even trade? I guess maybe a Dafe Owe, who's in a contract year right now, coming off a 10-sack year, and a couple of draft picks. Maybe they'll throw in a tight end as well, one of their expiring contracts there. But the Cowboys just extended Jake Ferguson. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, all those hypothetical trades that come out, this is the time of the year for that because everybody's so hungry for football content. But I would be extremely surprised if that happened.
Cordell, how has Mark Andrews responded after the end of last season, that disappointing end in Buffalo, which I hated that for him because he's such an incredible tight end? How has he looked in camp?
He's looked good. That was a tough pill to swallow for Mark and Ravens fans, and it left a sour taste in a lot of Ravens fans' mouth because, he has the ending to the Buffalo game that he had, and not just the drop on the 2-point conversion, but he has the fumble in the fourth quarter as they're coming back. And then we didn't hear from Mark. I mean, we didn't hear from Mark after the game. We didn't hear from him the next day at locker cleanout. It wasn't until a couple of weeks later where he made a post on Instagram that fans kind of saw words from Mark Andrews for the first time. So, that relationship was a little fractured this offseason. Fans are calling for Mark to be traded. It kind of got messy. Mm-hmm. And now, Mark is a worker. I mean, it's back to football. Isaiah Likely's hurt right now, so Mark Andrews is kind of all they have. I mean, Charlie Kohler's there, but he's, in my opinion, a big drop-off from Likely and Andrews. So Andrews is still Lamar's go-to guy, one of them at least, and I'm expecting Andrews to have a great year this year. It's a contract year. He led all tight ends and touchdowns last year with 11. 10 of them coming in the red zone, I believe. I mean, Mark is still as good as it gets. He just has to be able to show that in the postseason because historically, a lot of people talk about Lamar in the postseason, but Mark Andrews' numbers in the postseason are drastically different than his regular season contributions as well.
All right, so the big question I think a lot of people are wondering about the Ravens. It feels like a team that we can trust on to be one of the top dogs in the AFC every year, but can this team win a Super Bowl?
That's the question. I mean, we know the Ravens can sleepwalk through the regular season. Can they win in January? And that remains to be seen. I mean, they've gotten a couple of playoff wins here over the last couple of years, but they haven't gotten to the big game yet. And, you would imagine that this would be the year. I mean, their roster is going to look much different after this year. I think everybody understands the pressure that's on this team after the roster that Eric DeCosta built and just how long they've been together. You only get but so many bites of the apple. This, what happens to John if these guys flame out early in the postseason again? I don't know. So I think they understand that, and it's just about the Ravens putting their best game together in January, and it starts with Lamar. And I don't think Lamar is the reason they lost in Buffalo, but he had a first half that he would like to do over again. His second half I thought was amazing, but that's that way it goes in the postseason. You can't afford to have a bad half on the road in Buffalo in the divisional round. More times than not, you're going to lose that game. And so I talked about them being a little boring early. I remember the AFC Championship game. The second half, the Chiefs didn't score, but Mahomes was fine with throwing the ball away, punting, checking down, taking a sack or two. Like Lamar, I think that's what he is learning, or hopefully has learned, is that, he doesn't have to be Superman to win games. In the regular season, we see all these Lamar Jackson highlights. They've also won games without Lamar putting up the best numbers, because that's how good of a team that they are. So I think that's what it is in the postseason, learning how to win games without Lamar, being the be-all, end-all out there.